The planets are colored accordingly. Of course, we just learned in the last video. Cyan is the imperial bases, and there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 of those. We talked about that during the regions video. So this up here is a planet that has 92 hab, and I'm going to talk about what all that means in a scouting video. So we're going to pick up where we left off with user interface. I'm going to go back to probe mode. I'm going to launch a probe. We're going to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to pick a system way over here. Now you can see this is the radar. If I hover over this, it tells me that it's spectrum-26. This is my probe. This is the this matches the bar down here. So you'll see this bar down here. This is the 4 shields, the 4 hull. How much damage you've taken on the front half of the ship, the back half of the ship, and I'll jump back down here since it's disappeared. This is the aft shields. Okay, this shields matches this. This is 100 right now. That is not 100%. That is 100 units of energy that is being used to protect the ship. So, and we said before, during combat you can take damage. So as this gets lowered, it has less effect on the damage coming in. Now, actually interesting, that system that we probed has a 91 hab in it. Okay, so we're going to talk about that in another video. Okay, so this is combat mode. I'm going to go ahead and launch a probe again. We're going to launch him at this one over here. I'm going to select him. He becomes the current target. He becomes yellow. You'll notice that he becomes bigger, the gnome on this guy. He becomes yellow over here. He disappears from view, and he's no longer the target. So I can click on him again, makes him current target. And at this point, and when I don't have enough time to go to combat view on him. Okay, so we're going to launch the probe way over here. Now this time, I'm going to make him the current target, and I'm going to go into combat mode. Now what this does is that spins the camera so it keeps both my target and myself on the screen at the same time. Now, I lost, he disappeared, lost. Yep, actually it clicked through. That's interesting. Okay, so come back. He's the current target. He comes back into me, and he disappeared because he is not on screen anymore. So I can click on him, turn the probe, and that then allows me to see that target. Now, first time, the second time, now we're going to go into torpedo mode. Now, this is torpedoes. Torpedoes are a hyperspace weapon. We'll go into more depth in that in the combat video. But I zoom out, and we're seeing that probe. He's on his way out there to somewhere in space. Okay. So he's almost, yeah, so he found his system. He's coming back. He's 200 light years away. MegaWars is really a huge game. This little area right here with the squares, and I probably shouldn't have that on. I'll turn that back off. This area right here with each sector, okay? Each sector is 100 light years. So you can see that's the stars that are within 100 light years that are of interest. And yes, it's a 2D game, it's a tactical game. So you'll notice also as I spin the camera and I bring it down, it locks back into the top view. And we talked about that just a second ago. That way you can zoom out and take a look at the way that systems are. So here he's coming back from where he went. I can click on him, go into combat mode, zoom down into the ship. Now this works even as my ship is turning. So let's get some speed. So as my ship turns, it keeps both of us lined up in combat mode so that I can fire upon him. Okay, so I have some missiles, but I don't have any in stock.
Probe return.
Probe return. Now, it took me back out of combat mode. Now the camera's back into follow mode. If you like the 2D view, I'm going to double click. Like 2D, just drop back down into 2D. Let me pull it back down, and it locks back into place. It will, and snap in just a second. There's a issue. I'll fix that later. This should snap correctly. Okay, so ignore it not snapping correctly. All right, so back to the user interface. This There you go. See it snap. The so the buttons, the left, this determines on how you're going to navigate, whether you send probes, you navigate yourself, or you turn on the combat ring. This is 60 light years, and the direction this is fires a torpedo, but we'll talk about that during combat. Okay. The next button was the combat mode button. That's for the camera. And then the next button is the ship library. Now, ship library takes a look at everything that we've scouted so far, and there's only one system that had a colony. So if I turn that off and I say reload library, this is set for habitability of 50 to 100, and it steps every 5. Okay, so if I put this at 75 hab, it's only going to find things that are above 75 habitability. Okay. Habitability is what everything is based off of, so that's why everything is sorted by that. So this is the star name, and I can click on this and it will take me to that system. Okay, this is how far away it is. Okay, remember a long time ago we visited this system. It's 500 light years from where we are right now, and the habitability of all these is listed here. So if I decrease that to 0 and reload the library, so you can see all the systems that we've visited. This tells you if there is a colony there, that's population, how many surface guns there are. Okay. Now, if you use another computer and you scout some on that computer, or you visit systems of that, and you come back to this computer, you'll need to update the database, and that will bring that database down and update your computer. Okay, so we've talked about a little things. Now this right here is your fuel. This is how much fuel that we've used. And to refuel, and we saw, now you'll see there's a fuel column in that pop-up. There's no fuel in any of these systems. Okay, here we go. Here's a system that has fuel on the last planet. So I'm going to click, navigate to here, and you can see we're burning fuel to get there. This is our speed. Speed's increasing up, and this will take us up to the max warp.
Entering system.
So now, navigation-wise, spin around. There it is, way over there. You can see 97F, and that's the fuel. So here again, 97 fuel. So I can just click on this planet up here, and we will fly to that base. Okay, so fuel, hab, and we're going to talk about some things about planets in the next video. So that is basically, oh, the other thing is your chat is here, hello, and then that is the chat to everyone else in the game. This is the command box for the original MegaWars 3 players. This is the command box that you can use to enter in those commands that we've had in the past. Okay, for example, we have end and scoop. I can type an SCO right here, and it will scoop fuel from that planet, or I can press the button over here and scoop the fuel. Okay. Interface wise, we talked about the radar, we talked about the left side over here. Okay, so this for example is my planet menu. I can only do 2 things at this planet. I can end at this planet, or I can scoop. There is no habitability, no metal rating. And I think we've talked about everything else. Oh, this is your running status over here. So you can see it says 800 fuel quick. This is the status. This has, if you fire lasers, you hit a target, how much damage will be in that. So this is basically your running status, and we'll be saving that to a file soon. That was one of the recommendations by Falcon, one of the players, and that's what we do a lot of. Players suggest things, and we're going to start saving this log out to be able to see that. And I think that's it for the main user interface. We've talked about just about everything. To leave orbit, I can right click, or I can use the ASW keys. I'm just going to right click. Okay, so then that takes me out of orbit at this point and into the wild blue yonder. And again, you need to make sure that you're in a close to 100% for that warp entry, or it can fail for you. Oh, one other thing. On this left side of this tells you that you're in the rim region, okay? And then over here, this tells you that you're in H50, in sector 78. So let's go to warp.
Engage hyperdrive.
Okay, so in hyperdrive, this is the sectors: H50, sector 77, 87, and 79. So the next one that's over here will not be 80 because it is 89 is up there. So it goes across 100 light years each. Remember, each region is a 1,000 light years by 1,000 light years. So, and this will be the next region over here. So if I stop right here, you can see this is H50 79 and that's H50 70. So it goes across horizontally. So if you take the 1,000 light years, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then you go up 100 light years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's the original way from the original MegaWars, how people identified sectors. And so I kept that. And so this is Sector 79. And it makes it nice to say, hey, you know, I'm scouting over here in H50 79. And that way you don't give away where you are exactly, just gives them a basic idea. Okay, that's it for this one, and I think I need to do, that is it for the user interface. So we're going to go to scouting next because that's the next important thing. See you in the next video.